She was the dream girl of the 90s. Now it's hard to look at her. Leah Thompson, now 60 years old. Leah Thompson learned ballet when she was very young and was working as a dancer by the time she was 14. By the time she was 20, she was dancing with the studio company of the American Ballet Theater. But her large size kept people from joining. When she finally made up her mind to become an actress, that's what made her famous. The part of Lorraine in the Back to the Future movies was her most popular one. In the 1990s, she was even the lead in the NBC comedy Caroline in the City. She's no longer acting, but her daughter Zoe Deutsch is one of the most famous up-and-coming actors today, carrying on the family playing tradition. Cassandra Peterson, now 70 years old. People who watched a lot of 1980s TV shows know the face of actress Cassandra Peterson, at least when she's dressed as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Sources say that Peterson tried out for the role of Ginger Grant on Gilligan's Island before she was given the part of the horror hostess. Luckily, she got the part of Elvira, which changed her life. Peterson was also well known for her role as Elvira on TV. You should know Elvira's movie Macabre, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and Elvira's Haunted Hills. Peterson was admired more after she came out as a member of the LGBTQ community than before she became an actress. Jane Fonda, now 84 years old. Jane Fonda has been a wonderful actor for more than 50 years, and her work has been full of success. Jane used to be an actress, but now she's an exercise star, a woman, and a political fighter. She became well known in the 1960s with a string of hits like Tall Story and Cat Bayou. In the end, this helped make her name as a Hollywood star different from that of her famous father, Henry Fonda. The actor, on the other hand, has never let the media use her variety of parts to define her. During her senior year, she changed her image by becoming a fitness teacher and making and acting on several workout DVDs. Christy McNichol, now 59 years old. In the 1970s, Christy McNichol was the first young star to make six figures a year. In any case, the girl from The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia became famous on the TV show Family. She got an Emmy for her role as Letitia Boy Lawrence. Besides this, she did well in the movies Little Darlings and Only When I Laugh, which got good reviews. The actress's last role was in the TV show Empty Nest, where she came back for the last episode. After she came out as a member of public scrutiny, she was looked at closely by everyone. Now, though, Christy makes a living by giving acting classes at a private La La Land school. Candace Cameron, now 47 years old. Cameron rose to fame in the 1980s when she played the popular character DJ on the TV show Full House. She was most recently on Fuller House, the most current version of the show. She's also a host on The View. Besides that, she's also written and published several self-help and health books. So she's been very busy over the years. Cameron is still working as an actress, but these days she spends most of her time with her family. Valerie Bure, a famous NHL player, has been her husband since 1996. They now have 3 kids together. Carmen Electra, now 49 years old. A lot of people will always think of the beautiful Carmen Electra as an actress who was in TV shows like Baywatch and the MTV reality show Till Death Do Us Part, Carmen and Dave. However, Electra began her work as a singer before she became an actress. In the 1990s, a big name in music, Prince found her and released her first record, Carmen Electra. She has sung, danced, and acted, and she's also been a famous beauty model who's been in racy magazines. Electra hasn't made any TV shows since she turned 49. Since 2018, she's made public visits and can now be seen doing volunteer work for a nonprofit. Molly Ringwald, now 53 years old. She was the teen queen of the 1980s and was in Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, and The Breakfast Club. She was in the famous group of young artists in the 1980s called the Brat Pack. Now she's 54. She's stopped acting like a teenager and has been doing more grown-up work. She's the lead in the Netflix show Riverdale right now, and sometimes she gives life tips in The Guardian. The actress made her start as a translator for the book Lie With Me, which was written in French. She's also been seen with her daughter at events like the American Ballet Theater's Fall Gala. Faye Dunaway, now 81 years old. It's said that Faye Dunaway is one of the most famous actresses of all time. Many people still talk about how great she was in movies like The Thomas Crown Affair and Bonnie and Clyde, to name a few. Things could have been very different for this Oscar winner, though. That's because she has a college grant and was on track to become a teacher. She's said to only go out to church now that she's retired and living a quiet life. Dunaway has one child and hasn't been married again since she split up with her second husband in 1987. Barbara Mandrell, now 73 years old. Barbara Mandrell is another famous country music singer who has a huge net worth. She was able to buy her theme park. Of course, we're talking about her old home, which is now a famous tourist spot in Tennessee where she grew up. Her success as an artist speaks for itself, and she's also been in a few TV shows from the 70s and 80s. Since she made her mark on country music, Barbara's been enjoying her free time for a while now, but she still shows up in public every once in a while. It Works For Me was her last studio record, which came out in 1994. Kathy Rigby, now 69 years old. People first heard of Kathy Rigby as an American artistic gymnast who participated in the Olympics from the late 1960s to the 1970s. She did well enough to win a silver medal for the 1970 World Championship, but not enough to become a star athlete. She stopped working as a teacher in 1978 and became an actor in the theater. In the theater world, she's best known for playing Peter Pan. That's right, she played the same part again in a movie version of the play in 2018. Well done, 67-year-old. In any case, Kathy and her husband run a production company called McCoy Rigby Entertainment. Rachel Ward, now 64 years old. Rachel Ward was best known for her role in the miniseries The Thornbirds. The actress from the UK has worked with experienced actor Richard Chamberlain, who is now her husband. Rachel was called in for a Golden Globe for it. She's mostly worked behind the scenes as a director and scriptwriter since then. The last movie she worked on was the 2019 comedy drama Palm Beach, which she directed and wrote. What about Rachel's personal life? She's been married to Australian actor Brian Brown since 1983, which is pretty amazing considering how few marriages work out in that field. They now have 3 kids together. Heather Locklear, now 60 years old. From the 1980s to the 1990s, Heather Locklear was a famous person because she had a beautiful face and a great body. She played lead roles in well-known TV shows like Melrose Place. Also, she's been on People magazine's Most Beautiful list 3 times. Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, the Christine Carlson story, is her most recent work, though Heather was married to Tommy Lee and Richie Sambora, 2 famous rock stars, but neither marriage worked out. Heather is currently on the board of directors for motion picture and television. She also gave the Michael J. Fox Foundation her backing. Jane Cibit, now 59 years old. For people who grew up in the 1990s and watched Friends, actor Jane Cibit's face is easy to remember. A lot of people talked about the relationship between Susan and Carol on Friends, and most of all, fans know her right away as Carol. On the other hand, Cibit played Ross Geller's ex-wife and the mother of his son, Ben. Cibit, who's 59 years old, recently directed plays in Hawaii, but most of her time is spent running the 1736 Family Crisis Center and speaking up for people who have been through family problems. The Michael D. Publishers Award was also given to her for her autobiography about Jane. She's been on the staff for Story Summit ever since. Maria Shriver, 66 years old. I think Maria Shriver is a great writer and reporter, but that's not all she does. She's also a campaigner, a businesswoman, and a mother of 4. Shriver is a real Renaissance woman, and she wants to share her great stories with everyone. Even though she's 66 years old, she still looks beautiful, and she doesn't use any makeup. In a field that values youth and looks a lot, Maria has gone against the grain by aging beautifully. Women of all ages look up to Maria, and her beauty is truly refreshing. People know Maria for how hard she works to help others. Several nonprofits have asked her to help out. Joan Van Ark, now 80 years old. The 80-year-old American actress Joan Van Ark is best known for her roles as Valerie Ewing in Dallas and Knots Landing. After 2 years, the actor came back to the public eye in Los Angeles. Van Ark doesn't seem to age at all, and her return to the spotlight has made people love and care about her again. Joan's marriage to John Marshall, the boy she loved in high school, adds to her story in ways other than her playing skills. Marshall used to be an award-winning TV newscaster and now runs enewswires.com, which shows how persistent and adaptable the couple is. Nadia Konichi, now 60 years old. Nadia Konichi became famous when she won a lot of gold medals in gymnastics at the Olympics in the 1970s and 1980s. Konichi won 5 Olympic gold medals during her long and successful career. In 1976, she was the first gymnast to get a perfect score of 10.0. What do you know? She was only 14 years old. She also became something of a hero when she fled communist Romania and came to live in the United States. She's a member of both countries right now, and she spends most of her time working with nonprofits that help kids from her home country. Nancy McKeon, now 56 years old. People will always remember Nancy McKeon as Jo in The Facts of Life. After the show, she was in more TV shows until the 2000s. The Division was her last big part until 2004. She got married in 2003 and went to Texas to raise her 2 girls. Since then, she's been having a pretty quiet life and hasn't been on TV very often. In 2018, she was on Dancing with the Stars, and in 2021, she was on the teen soap Panic. McKeon was supposed to be on the mini reunion of The Facts of Life, but fans didn't get to see her. Janine Piro, now 70 years old. The other TV host is Janine Piro, judge who played Judge Janine Piro, but her hit Fox News show, Justice with Judge Janine, is probably what she's best known for these days. She used to be a real judge, and before that, she was a lawyer, attorney to be exact. She could have joined a well-known law company with a big salary, but she chose the unusual road of becoming a political analyst instead, which made her one of the most talked-about TV personalities people these days. Don't Lie to Me and Stop Trying to Steal Our Freedom is the name of her most recent book, which came out in 2020. Joyce DeWitt, now 72 years old. In the acting business, Joyce DeWitt didn't have a hard time getting work. Most people know her for one of her first parts on Three's Company, a small ABC network show that became so popular that it made Joyce a TV star. Everyone loved her sweet smile and how she played the lively Janet Wood on the show. Joyce kept switching between TV and theater, even though she had a bachelor's and master's degree in theater to put on shows, but not as well known as Three's Company. Joyce also helps people in need and has worked with the Family Assistance Program of Hollywood Charity. Linda Carter, now 70 years old. Linda Carter has played Wonder Woman since the 1970s. At the same time, she was known as the most beautiful woman in the world. In 1972, she even won the Miss World USA contest. She gave up the role to Gal Gadot, but not before making Diana Prince famous for a whole generation. Carter came back to support the new Wonder Woman movie after being away from show business for a while. Not just TV, Carter's been in commercials for names like Maybelline and movies. Since 1984, she and her husband Robert A. Altman have had 2 children. Suzanne Summers, now 75 years old. Suzanne Summers is best known for her part in the 1977 series Three's Company. She was in several other TV shows as well, such as Step by Step in the 1990s. She is a strong supporter of health and wrote the book A New Way to Age, the most cutting-edge advances in anti-aging. One more thing you need to know about Suzanne is her well-known ThighMaster fitness machine. Since the beginning of the 1990s, Suzanne has been a big part of the brand's success. Now that Suzanne has a net worth of $105 million and used to be a 50-50 partner, she owns the whole brand. Vanna White, now 65 years old. You may already know Vanna White as the longtime hostess of Wheel of Fortune. Going to a beauty show in the late 1970s brought her a lot of attention. After that, she became a contestant on The Price is Right, which is another popular game show. Her deal with Wheel of Fortune is still valid for a few more years, which is something to keep in mind. And the money she makes has gone up a lot since she started the job. Besides that, Vanna's the face of Lion brand yarn, now that she talked about how much she loves crocheting on The Tonight Show. Dolly Parton, now 76 years old. In the country music business, Dolly Parton is a well-known name. She's won many awards and had many hit songs and records by the time she was 76. Parton used her one-of-a-kind skill to write more than 3,000 songs, many of which became successes. Run, Rose, Run, her most recent record, came out in 2022. Another thing we learned about her was on Dolly Parton's heartstrings. With a projected net worth of $600 million, she's done very well as both a singer and a businesswoman. Is that not enough? She also runs a popular theme park in Tennessee called Dollywood. Winona Ryder, now 50 years old. In the 1990s, Winona Ryder ruled the screen with movies like Reality Bites, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, and many more. Ryder went on to enjoy her success at her own pace after making news with her part in Heathers. Another thing is that some of you may know Ryder from Friends, where she played Rachel's sorority sister, Melissa. For a while, Ryder wasn't in show business, but came back with roles in Netflix's Stranger Things and the 2018 romantic comedy Destination Wedding with Keanu Reeves. Ryder's been nominated for 2 Academy Awards and won a Golden Globe. Madonna, now 63 years old. The Queen of Pop, Madonna, has claimed this title since the 1980s and still does. With a net worth of about $800 million, Madonna is truly amazing. She's now 63 years old, but she has no plans to quit soon. Madonna's put out about 14 solo records so far, which have sold more than 300 million copies around the world. That makes her the most marketable female artist ever. She's also a real star who's paved the way for younger artists today. In any case, her most recent album was Madam X, which came out in 2019.